She laughed to her friends. He pays for Netflix and Hulu. Meanwhile, I watch them with my ex every night. I just smiled, but when she logged in later, the username on the account made her drop her remote. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I was in my workshop in the back of the garage, meticulously sanding down a piece of reclaimed oak for a coffee table I was building. The garage side door was propped open for ventilation, and their voices drifted out from the back patio, clear as a bell in the quiet afternoon air. I'm 35, I run a custom furniture business, and I own my house. My girlfriend, Megan, who is 31, moved in about 8 months ago. She'd been laid off from her marketing job and was trying to launch a freelance consulting business. I told her not to worry about rent or bills until she got her business off the ground. I figured I was just being a supportive partner. I make a good living, and I wanted to give her the space to pursue her dream without financial stress. I never saw it as enabling. I saw it as a temporary investment in our future. Her friend, Jessica, must have asked her something about her ex, Liam. I heard his name and my ears perked up. Megan had always been vague about him, just saying he was a mistake from her early 20s. Oh my God, Liam is hilarious, Megan said, her voice dripping with amusement. It's so funny. We have our little routine now. He comes over on Tuesdays and Thursdays when Jake works late. A cold knot formed in my stomach. I put down the sander and walked silently to the side door, staying just out of sight. Doesn't Jake get suspicious? That was her other friend, Carly. Jake? Megan let out a short, sharp laugh that cut me deeper than any insult. He has no idea. He's so wrapped up in his dusty workshop, he barely notices what day it is. The best part is, he pays for everything. The Netflix, the Hulu, the ridiculously expensive intranet. Liam and I just binge watch all the new shows together on Jake's dime. It's perfect. Jessica chimed in. So he pays for Netflix and Hulu, and you watch them with your ex every night? Basically, Megan said, and they all erupted in laughter again. Liam calls him our official sponsor. It's our little inside joke. I stood there hidden by the doorframe, and the world just shifted. It wasn't just the cheating. It was the casual, brutal disrespect. The mockery. The fact that my hard work, the very thing that provided the comfortable life she was enjoying, was the punchline to their little joke. I wasn't a partner to her. I was a utility. A provider to be used and laughed at behind his back. The anger was there, a white-hot flash. But something colder and calmer took over almost immediately. I didn't storm out there. I didn't yell. I just backed away from the door, my movements silent and deliberate. I walked back to my workbench, picked up my phone, and smiled. It was a grim, thin smile, the kind you see on a man who has just declared a war that his opponent doesn't even know has begun. They thought I was just a simple guy who worked with his hands. They were about to find out how methodical and precise those hands could be, even on a keyboard. While they continued to laugh on the patio, I sat down on a stool in my workshop and began to dismantle her world. First, the streaming services. Our little inside joke. I logged into my Netflix account. Her profile picture was a smiling selfie of us from a vacation I'd paid for. Her profile name was just Megan. I clicked Manage Profiles and edited her name. It now read, Megan and our sponsor Liam. I did the same for Hulu, changing her profile name to Liam Watches on this one. Then, I went into the account settings for both services and signed out all devices. Finally, I changed the master passwords to a complex 20-character string of random letters and numbers that I would never forget. Next, the finances. I logged into my main bank account. She had a supplementary credit card linked to my account for groceries and emergencies. I'd seen the statements. Her emergencies looked a lot like new shoes and expensive lunches with Jessica and Carly. I clicked the button to report her card as lost and requested it be immediately canceled. A new one would be sent to me, but her old one was now a useless piece of plastic. I then checked our joint account, which was supposed to be for shared expenses. I had put in $2,000 as a starting float. She had contributed nothing. I transferred the entire balance back to my personal account and initiated the process to close it. The financial support was over. Finally, the house. My house. The one my grandfather had left me. She wasn't on the lease or the mortgage. Legally, she was a month-to-month tenant, even though she paid no rent. I opened a new document and, using a legal template, drafted a formal 30-day notice to vacate. It was professional, impersonal, and legally airtight. I printed it, signed it, and left it on my desk. The whole process took less than 15 minutes. I felt nothing but a cold, clean sense of purpose. She had mistaken my generosity for weakness. She had mistaken my focus for ignorance. These were fatal errors in judgment. I went back to sanding the oak coffee table, the rhythmic motion of the tool calming and steady. I could still hear their faint laughter from the patio. Let them laugh. The punchline was coming, and it was going to be a killer. Update 1, 48 hours later. The support in the comments has been incredible. It's good to know that basic respect isn't an outdated concept. A lot of you are asking for a quick update, and the last 2 days have been eventful. The laughter on the patio eventually died down, and Megan's friends left around dinner time. She came into the workshop, all smiles, and told me she was ordering pizza. "My treat," she said, waving her phone. I just nodded and told her that sounded good. I knew her card was about to be declined, but I wanted to see it happen. I followed her inside and sat at the kitchen island watching her tap away at the food delivery app. I saw the exact moment it happened, the slight frown, the way she tapped the confirm payment button again, a little harder this time, the flicker of annoyance in her eyes. "Ugh, this stupid app is bugging out," she said, forcing a laugh. "It's not taking my card." "That's weird," I said, my voice perfectly neutral. "Maybe try another one." She didn't have another one, of course, not one with any money on it. After a few more failed attempts, she threw her phone down in frustration. "Whatever, I'll just use your card. What's the number again?" "No," I said. She looked up, surprised. "No? What do you mean no? I'm hungry. I mean no, I'm not paying for the pizza." The confusion on her face was a sight to behold. This was a new script, one she hadn't rehearsed. "Why are you being so weird?" she asked, her tone shifting from annoyed to accusatory. "I'm just not feeling like a sponsor tonight," I said, letting the word hang in the air between us. Her face went pale. She knew. I don't know how, but she knew that I knew. She didn't say another word, just turned and walked into the living room. I heard the TV turn on. I went back to my workshop. The real explosion came about an hour later. I heard a shriek from the living room, followed by the sound of something hitting the floor. I walked to the doorway. She was standing there, staring at the TV screen, the remote lying in pieces on the floor where she'd dropped it. The Netflix login screen was up, and there, under the main account, were the profile options. One of them read, "Megan and our sponsor Liam." She turned to look at me, her face a mask of fury and terror. "What is this?" she whispered. "That's your new profile name," I said calmly. "I thought it was more accurate. I changed the Hulu one too. You should check it out. It's clever." "You were listening to me?" she screamed. "You were spying on me?" "The window was open, Megan. You weren't exactly being quiet. It's hard to miss when your girlfriend and her friends are laughing about how she's cheating on you and using you for money." The gaslighting started immediately. It was a joke. I was taking it out of context. I was insecure, controlling, the same lines she'd probably used on every man she'd ever wronged. I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I just let her spin, let her exhaust her arsenal of excuses. When she finally paused to take a breath, I walked over to my desk in the corner of the room, picked up the envelope I'd prepared, and handed it to her. "What's this?" she asked, her voice trembling. "It's a 30-day notice to vacate the premises," I said. "Legally, you're a tenant. I'm terminating that tenancy. You have until the end of next month to remove your belongings from my property." She stared at the paper, then at me, her eyes filled with a mixture of disbelief and hatred. "You can't kick me out. I live here." "You lived here," I corrected her. "Your stay is over. Your card has been canceled, and our joint account has been closed. The sponsorship has officially ended." She lunged at me then, trying to hit me, claw at me. I just sidestepped her, holding up my hands. "Don't, Megan. Don't make this uglier than it already is." She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. They weren't tears of remorse. They were tears of frustration. The tears of a con artist whose mark has just walked away from the table. The calls started the next day. Her mother called, screaming at me for throwing her daughter out on the street. I calmly explained that her daughter had been cheating on me for months and was now facing the consequences. I suggested she ask Megan about her sponsor, Liam. Then came Liam himself. He called from a blocked number, trying to play the tough guy. "You need to leave her alone, man. You can't just kick her out." "Liam," I said, a genuine smile in my voice. "I'm so glad you called. I was just thinking about you. You see, I've been sponsoring your little movie nights for a while now, and I feel like we have a real connection. In fact, I'm thinking of sending you a thank you gift. What's your address?" He was silent for a moment. "What are you talking about?" Don't worry, I already have it. Your routine on Tuesdays and Thursdays is about to get a little more interesting. Have a good day. I hung up. I spent the rest of the day changing every password to every account we had ever shared. Utilities, Amazon, everything. I systematically erased her from my digital life. The house feels bigger now, quieter. She's been locked in the guest room, refusing to come out. Let her. The clock is ticking. 30 days isn't a long time when you have to find a new life, a new job, and a new sponsor. Update 2. 1 week later. It's been a week since the Netflix incident, and the fallout has been both predictable and deeply satisfying. Thanks for following along with this mess. Your comments have been a source of dark humor and genuine support. Megan stayed locked in the guest room for 2 full days. I left a tray of food outside her door once, which went untouched. On the 3rd day, she emerged, her eyes puffy, her face pale. The defiance was gone, replaced by a desperate, calculating look. She tried to apologize. She said it was a mistake, that she loved me, that Liam meant nothing. I just looked at her and said, "The notice to vacate is on the table. You have 27 days left." Her apology quickly turned to bargaining. She could change. We could go to therapy. She would cut off all contact with Liam. She would get a job, a real job, and start paying her share of the bills. "It's too late for that, Megan," I said. "Trust isn't something you can fix with a promise. You didn't just cheat. You mocked me. You and your friends laughed at me. There's no coming back from that." The move out began in stages. She called Jessica and Carly to help her pack. They arrived looking like they were attending a funeral, refusing to make eye contact with me. I just stayed in my workshop, the sound of my tools providing a steady, industrious soundtrack to the end of my relationship. Now, about Liam. After our little phone call, I did send him that gift. I found a local bakery that makes custom gift baskets. I ordered their biggest one, filled with expensive snacks, wine, and a fancy popcorn maker. I included a gift card for a local movie theater. The note I had them write was simple. "To my favorite co-star, thanks for all the great nights. Sorry our show got canceled. From your official sponsor." I had it delivered to his workplace. He's a junior account manager at some downtown firm. I can only imagine the questions he got from his colleagues and his boss when a massive gift basket arrived for him with that note. The fallout was immediate. Megan told me, during one of her tearful pleading sessions, that Liam went ballistic. He called her, screaming that I was a psycho and that she had dragged him into her mess. He accused her of telling me about him. He wasn't the brave protector anymore. He was a terrified coward, worried about his own reputation. He told her to lose his number and never contact him again. Her escape plan, her backup man, had evaporated at the first sign of trouble. The friends, Jessica and Carly, have also been dealt with in a more subtle way. They both work at the same marketing agency. I happen to know the owner of that agency through a business networking group. We're not close, but we're friendly. I send him a casual email. "Hey Tom, quick question. I'm looking to hire a freelance marketing consultant. My ex-girlfriend was in the field, and I'm trying to understand the industry standards for professional conduct. For example, is it common for consultants to advise their friends to actively deceive their financial partners? Just trying to get a lay of the land. Any insight would be appreciated." I didn't mention their names. I didn't have to. I knew he was smart enough to connect the dots. I heard from a mutual acquaintance that there was a very serious all-staff meeting at that agency last week about ethics, client relationships, and professional discretion. Jessica and Carly are apparently walking on eggshells, their reputations now under a microscope. They enabled her, they laughed with her, and now they get to share in her professional paranoia. Megan has been scrambling to find a place to live. She has no money, no job, and her credit is terrible. She called her parents, who apparently told her she had made her bed, and now she had to lie in it. It seems her history of using people isn't a new development. She has 23 days left. The house is slowly emptying of her things. Each box she packs and moves to a storage unit she can't afford is another small victory. She thought she was playing a game, but she never understood the rules. She thought I was a simple man. She's learning, much too late. That simple doesn't mean stupid. Final update. 3 months later. It's been 3 months since Megan moved out. The house is finally mine again. I finished that oak coffee table, and it's sitting in the living room, a solid, beautiful testament to what can be built with honest work. The silence that felt so heavy at first now just feels like peace. The 30-day notice period was tense. Megan became a ghost in the house, packing silently, avoiding me at all costs. The desperate apologies stopped, replaced by a sullen, resentful silence. On the final day, she had a moving company, paid for by her parents, I assume, come and clear out the last of her belongings. She left the key on the counter without a word. I watched the truck pull away, and I didn't feel sadness or anger. I just felt relief. The infection had been removed. The consequences of her actions have been thorough, and from what I hear, devastating for her. Her attempt to build a freelance business is a non-starter. Without my financial backing, and with her reputation in our local business community tarnished, she couldn't land a single client. The story of what happened, in its broad strokes, got out. People talk, and nobody wants to hire a consultant who was involved in such a messy, unethical situation. She ended up having to move 2 hours away, back to her hometown, into her childhood bedroom in her parents' house. The glamorous life she portrayed online was replaced by the humiliating reality of being a 31-year-old woman with no job, no savings, and no prospects, living under her parents' roof. Liam, her co-star, faced his own fallout. The gift basket at his office apparently caused a huge stir. His boss had a long chat with him about judgment and professionalism. Worse for him, his long-term, on-again, off-again girlfriend, whom he was apparently cheating on with Megan, found out about the whole affair. She didn't just leave him, she made sure everyone in their social circle knew exactly why. He wasn't the suave ladies' man anymore, he was just another pathetic cheater. As for Jessica and Carly, their careers have stalled. The ethics meeting at their agency was just the beginning. Their boss, now wary of their judgment, has reportedly passed them over for several key projects. They are still employed, but they are no longer on the fast track. They chose to be the audience for Megan's mockery, and now they get to live with the professional consequences of that choice. My life has moved on in a way I couldn't have imagined 3 months ago. The peace and quiet allowed me to focus on my business, and it's booming. I've taken on 2 new apprentices, teaching them the craft, and the feeling of building something real and tangible has never been more satisfying. I did get one final communication from Megan about a month ago. It was a long, rambling email. It was the apology she should have given on day 1. She said she was sorry, that she was insecure and foolish, and that she had thrown away the best thing that had ever happened to her. She said she was in therapy. She ended the email by asking if I could find it in my heart to give her a second chance. I thought about it for a whole 5 minutes. I thought about the laughter I heard from the patio. I thought about the words official sponsor. I thought about the casual, cruel disrespect. I typed a 1-sentence reply, "I wish you the best in your new life." Then I created a filter to send any future emails from her directly to the trash. The revenge was never about destroying her. It was about reclaiming my life, my home, and my self-respect.